All right, let's take a look again. I can subtract numbers. Notice how we got this subtraction coming up. A positive 4, and we're going to subtract a negative 3, and we're going to subtract a positive 5, and we're going to subtract a negative 2. And it's odd. Look, we have a 4. We're going to subtract all of these numbers, and yet we're going to land up with a positive number. Actually, a positive number bigger than 4. How can this be? So we're going to look at a little bit of a different way to subtract numbers today. And we're going to do it by drawing bubbles and then by combining, not by actually subtracting. So I'm going to go ahead and rewrite this problem so that we can go back and look what we did. So go ahead and do this on your paper while I'm doing it. So I'm just copying this down, positive 4, and you do this as well while I'm doing this. Subtract negative 3, and I'd like you to put this in your notebooks while I'm doing this. And then I'm going to subtract a positive 5. And I'm going to subtract a negative 2. So the first thing I want to do is to kind of decode this. What really are the numbers that I'm going to combine? And I'm going to do this by drawing a dot right behind each number. Notice how the dot is like right in the middle of the number and right behind it. And go ahead and draw this dot behind each number, like this. And then this is where I'm going to draw the bubbles. And the bubbles are going to help me see what really are the numbers I'm combining. Okay, so I'm going to take this first one, the dot. The bubble starts at the dot, goes back to the dot. So make sure your pen is actually, or pencil's on the dot before you draw the bubble. And so I'm going to do this again, this one, and then the temptation is to only go this far and draw your bubble. That's not going to work. You've got to go all the way to this other dot. I got to keep going. I got to keep, that's not far enough. Keep going all the way until you hit that other dot, or you haven't gone far enough. The bubbles actually have to touch each other. And they don't need to be very round or very even. They just need to cover the whole thing. So I'm going to go to the next one. And again, the temptation is to stop right here, right? And to go around that plus 5. No. You got to keep going. And then the temptation again is to come around this negative. Nope. You got to keep going all the way to that other dot, right? Now I can come back. So the bubble covers everything in there. We'll do this last one a little quicker, going all the way out to the other dot, go through the dot, come back around, and back to the dot. And these are my 4 bubbles. So now I can do some work and like, well, I'm going to combine these numbers, not add or subtract, but combine them together. And what we're going to do is we are going to cross some things off to make this a little easier to decode. And one thing we can always cross off in a bubble are plus signs. That number is a positive 4, and I don't need the plus sign to tell me that. So I'm actually going to cross it off. I don't want to look at it because it's confusing. I don't need it. Same with this 5, positive 5. I don't ever need the plus signs for those to help me know what the number is. And then the last thing we're going to do is look inside these bubbles. Do I ever have 2 negatives inside the same bubble? And I'll look at this. Negative, negative. And what this actually means is to take away a negative. Take it away, which means I'm going to do this. And I'm actually going to remove those 2 negatives. I'm going to cross those off as well. And there's one other place. Do you see it? Where the other place that happens? Anytime we have 2 negatives in the same bubble, we can go ahead and cross them off. It means to take away the other negative. And now that I have this, you're going to see how we can decode this. The real numbers that we're combining, well, in this one, and I got to look at the whole bubble. The only thing in this bubble is a 4, so actually write that I got a 4. Like that. And interesting, in this bubble now, the only thing in this bubble is a 3. So I write that this is a 3. And I look at the next one. Well, you're tempted to say it's a 5, but it's not, because once I have my bubble, I need to look at the whole thing. And if I look at everywhere inside of this bubble around swimming in there is this negative sign. And that negative means this bubble is a negative 5. So this number, I'm going to write it differently, like this. Not far away like a subtraction sign, right? Subtract 5 like this, a negative 5. And my last number is no longer a negative 2. Those disappeared. The only thing in this bubble is a 2. So I have this. And now for combining, I like to do what we've been doing with those chips that we've had, those little blocks that we have, right? So I'm going to go ahead and draw them. And I'm going to use black for positive numbers. So this has a stack of 4 of them. 4 positives. That 3 is positive, so I got a stack of 3 positives. That 5 is negative, so I'm going to change colors. Doesn't matter what colors we have. Just make sure you're using different colors when you go negative. And there's 5 of them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then I see over here I got, again, 2 positive ones, so I'm going to use black for that. And this is how we're going to subtract numbers. When I say I can subtract numbers, I write my problem out. I draw my bubbles, I decode this to what are the numbers, and then I'm going to solve this problem not by subtracting, but by combining. By combining the numbers. And what's cool about this is I can go now in any order I want, and I'm going to just group the different colors. How many black ones do I have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 of them. So I'm literally going to make, now I got a stack, and I'm going to go over here by the combining. I'm combining 9 of those. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Some of you already know the answer to this. And then I got those 5 red ones. This is how we're combining by showing that additive inverse. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Additive inverse, I can add opposite numbers that combine to 0. Those 5 reds, those 5 blacks add up to 0. That's an additive inverse, and these are gone now. What am I left with? Well, I'm left with 4 black cubes, or 4, and those are positive because they're black. So my final answer is 4, and it's a positive. So let's go back up to the answer. Up to the original problem, and look, what did we actually do? We said that a positive 4, subtract a negative 3, subtract a positive 5, subtract a negative 2, and the final answer is 4. Isn't that fantastic? All right, nice job. Let's try some others in our examples.